1985, I actually accepted Jesus into my life. 1986, I started my business, named it Triune. So I would keep God first, family second, and then business third. As my business grew, everything changed around and it became business first, then family, then God. As I got to the top of my profession and became very competitive in my sport, I ended up really putting God as last and keeping dog first. Church is always last. I always had dog shows on the weekend, so therefore had no time to go. In 2015, my mom got cancer and I lost her, and there was nothing I could do, and I thought I should be able to stop it. And then in 2016, my newest competitive dog ended up with a spinal cord injury, and I ended up having to retire him at the age of 4. With the loss of two things that meant a lot to me, I needed to figure something out because I was getting really low. As I was driving around one day, I kept singing Joy Church on the highway. So one day I drove by and it's like, Thursday night service, 7 p.m. Wow, I don't teach classes on that day. On that first service, it just hit me. All at once, this is where I needed to be. And during the praise and worship, as I was singing, which I knew all the songs, I really felt a draw and knew that I'd found where I needed to be. I bought an RV at the beginning of the summer, and on the second weekend out, it has an outdoor kitchen. And I had the door up, and they had made a big deal about how it's being held up by these magnets. It's so much easier to hang on to. The magnets failed. Came crashing down on my head, 25 pounds, and fractured my C5. I had to have surgery. During my next surgery, they ended up messing up my brachial plexus nerves, and so I wasn't able to raise my hands, in praise and worship or clap because there was too much pain. So Dawn asked me, let's pray after service, and I said, okay. And so she grabbed both pastors and, they prayed for me, and that was on a Tuesday. And so when I went in Sunday of that week, Pastor Laura was sitting in front of me and she said, how are things going? And I said, I'm gonna be more specific. I said, all I wanna do is clap and raise my hands in service, praise and worship service like I normally do. So she put her hands on my neck and she said, she's not asking for much. She just wants to praise you like she knows how to praise you, and she wants to clap during service. And so praise and worship started about 2 minutes later, and I thought, okay. So I started clapping, and I'm like, there's no pain. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a whirl. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, okay, and my hands went up, and I just tapped Pastor Laura on the shoulder, and I'm showing her my hands up, and we both went, thank you. Several times during the week afterwards on Facebook, I go back and listen to the sermons, and I just remember one sermon. The pastor said, you've got to be specific in your prayers. I didn't ask for any more. That was all I wanted at the time. Now I'm gonna be more specific as we get better, things I really want, but it was a true miracle.